Clashes have broken out in Greece between police and protesters, angry over a controversial planned name deal with neighboring Macedonia. Protesters are also angry with the government's austerity policies. The rally was held in the city of Thessaloniki, where Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras was announcing his post-bailout economic strategy at an annual fair there. Nationalist demonstration was called after the government reached a name deal with northern neighbor Macedonia. Under that agreement, the Balkan Republic would be known now as the Republic of North Macedonia, which bears a similar name to a region in Greece. The preliminary agreement is to be confirmed by a referendum in Macedonia later this month and a Greek parliamentary vote early next year. Many Greeks fear a deal will officially enable Skopje to lay claim to their cultural heritage. Joining us now out of Athens is our own Press TV's Constantine Venezuelos for an update. Hello, Constantine. A pleasure to have you on the program. Constantine, we have these protesters out in the street. Some are throwing Molotov cocktails, rocks at police. Who is matter at what? What's really, irking these protesters? Is it really the Macedonia name change, or is it the, the cuts in the austerity measures we're seeing and the new post-bailout plan that, Tsipras has for the country?
Well, I think above all is this suspect reality, the uncertainty behind the package of relief measures and this optimism projected by the Greek Prime Minister earlier this evening. We saw Tsipras, handing out a package of relief measures for Greeks to be gradually implemented in the following years. But, we have to clarify something from the start. For Greece, Greece has implemented, has legislated, has passed in Parliament more than 400 austerity measures over the last 8 years, which means, and this, of course, has meant that Greece, for example, so far in 2018, has beaten and exceeded all targets concerning, for example, the country's primary surplus targets. Of course, reaching those primary surplus targets has come at the expense of social benefits spending across the spectrum, which means, of course, that Greece can only go that far. Any Greek government, it doesn't have to be Tsipras. We have elections coming up in May next year. Any government that comes along, it could be Tsipras, it could be someone else, it could be the Conservatives, can only go so far in spending in relief measures because they have to stay on course of those austerity reforms already legislated in Parliament. And of course, they have to achieve the 3.5 annual primary surplus target. So far, it's only going up to 2.8. So we're not that far from it. But how long can Greece sustain that performance in its national economy? And of course, Greeks know the number of protests while Tsipras was promising those things, phasing out sub-minimum wages for the up to 25-year-olds, gradually phasing out the much despised homeowners property tax, abolishing VAT on corporate tax and on basic goods as well as of 2020. Can those promises be kept when Greece will be very heavily supervised in coming years, in decades, so as not to veer off this path that all these aforementioned austerity measures have laid out, have paved for this country? Therefore, any government, Tsipras included, can only spend so much on relieving Greece of deep austerity. So Greeks are very suspicious whether these promises that we heard earlier on this evening can be realized by Tsipras or, as I said, any other government that comes along in following months.
Thank you much for that update out of Athens this late time in the morning. Thank you for joining us, sir. Constantine Venezuelos, our own Press TV correspondent.